my loves, so thank you for joining me for another YouTube yoga flow. We tonight are going to be working pretty dynamically, working with kind of this energy that we can build and what's the word, absorb and gather from this spring. So this evening I'd love for you to start in a wide-legged child's pose. If you've got anything going on in your knees, you might grab a blanket, as we are going to spend a little bit of time on the shins and the knees at the beginning of our practice. So if you want to grab a blanket, roll it up so it's nice and thick, and then just pop it lengthways across your mat, pop your knees on top. And then bring the big toes together, walk the arms forwards, and just allow your forehead to bow to the floor just for a moment. And we begin this process of our practice, this process of presence, and this process where we can begin to let go of the day, the conversations that you've had throughout the day. We can begin to let go of our roles, our responsibilities. You can start to let go of whatever you were just doing before you came here on your mat, and then also letting go of anything that's happening afterwards. So we really take this time to be here in the now, in the present. And so start to feel your shoulders move gently away from one another, like they're just gliding and rolling down your upper back body. Feeling the forehead soften perhaps to the floor, not worrying if it doesn't connect, but just allowing it to fall. And allowing the hips to effortlessly squeeze back to the heels. There's a very little, or a very subtle, I should say, sense of lengthening your tailbone rather than kind of sticking the bum back. We lengthen the tailbone just a little way to feel the sit bones rest towards the heels. And then taking a moment to notice the breath. How is it moving? How is it flowing for you this morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're practicing with us today? And see if you can start to really focus on the sense of rising through the back of your ribs and the back of your body as you breathe in. And the sense of softening and falling, like you're surrendering the weight of the front of the body as you breathe out. And our practice this evening, as you take a couple more moments here, just simply settling and arriving. It's all about finding liberation from who we think that we should be. Releasing those ideals and those layers and labels that we and others place on ourselves. And just seeing if you can really embrace who you are and embrace who you want to be. And through the practice, we'll kind of use our yoga and we'll use our movements to really show up for yourself. Show up for your body and how healthy and strong and capable it is, and really embrace that. Embrace the feeling of being strong, and equally embrace the feeling of being challenged, but not allowing your kind of inner critic to say, no, I can't do that, I'm too new for that, I'm too old for that, I'm too young for that, Instead we step on the mat really open through our hearts and through our minds, to allow us to explore the practice and be very curious about our body and our practice. Take another full breath in through your nose. And a full audible deep breath out of your nose. Beginning to engage your Ujjayi breath as we now curl the chin to the chest. Hug the lower belly in and up towards the back of your spine, and in slow motion peel yourself all the way forwards and up onto your hands and your knees. As you find yourself on hands and knees, just walk your hands under your shoulders and walk your knees under your hips, setting the tops of the feet flat down to the floor, so the toes, all 10 toes, I was going to say 20, we had 10, all 10 toes point to the back of your mat. And then just start here to find your foundation, so spreading the fingers wide and pressing the fingertips and the knuckles into the floor, as you equally find a little pressure into the tops of your feet. As you press into the tops of the feet, allow the lower belly to collect in and up towards the back of your spine. Take a nice long full breath in through the nose. Now on your exhale, just begin to hover your knees 2 inches away from the floor. And we start to feel the fire, we start to feel that little rising energy kind of bubbling up from the lower belly. And see if you can embrace again that feeling. Check out the hands and notice if all of your weight has been pushed into the heel of the palm. And see if you can bring a little more pressure into gripping the floor with your fingertips. So the knuckles slightly point up as we root into the tips of the fingers. Taking a full breath in. Good. On your exhale, lower the knees and soften just for a moment. Release off, roll the shoulders down the back body, reset, find a little freedom through the neck or through the hips. And then finding that sense of, again, hugging and pulling lower belly in and forwards. Root a little stronger into your left hand and start to rotate to the right, sweeping the right arm high to the sky. Take a nice long full inhale for me. Good, now on your exhale, thread the right arm underneath the left until you can soften onto your right shoulder and the right side of the head. Option if that's a little low is just to drop the right forearm to the floor and work with a little rotation over towards the left side. And that's still just the exact same shape, it's just a little softer on the head or the neck. And then from here, find just a very, very gentle pressure into your left palm and use that little press to roll the chest and perhaps even some of the gaze up towards the sky. Good, and then from here you might feel like you can start to shift a little more weight onto your right knee. Keep the left toes curled to the floor, so we'll tuck them under, and then extend your left leg back and the toes will slide a little way so you can straighten your left leg. Roll the chest a little further open, taking a breath in. Now on your exhale, press through the left hand and rise up with the right hand under the right shoulder. So in this kind of half tabletop with the left leg extended. As the left leg extends, just take a moment here to roll it backwards and forwards on the foot. So we start to wake and warm into the sole of the left foot and into the toes, into the calf, maybe a little through the hamstring. Good, then lean forward so that you can take your eyes to the top of your mat and begin to hover the left leg just above the floor. Now as the left leg hovers, notice if your lower back kind of takes everything. The belly collapses, the ribs fall to the floor, and you'll notice you can lift your left leg so high when you collapse the back. So see if instead you can bring a little energy into drawing the lower belly in. Feel like you're knitting your rib cage together. Again, strong connection to the hands, we call this our hasta bandha, our hand lock, as we reach forwards with the crown of the head and back through the left heel. So our posture has gone from kind of sitting in our joints and sitting in our flexibility to finding a sense of length and finding a sense of energy shooting and reaching through every single part of the body. Taking a full breath in for me. On your exhale, draw the left knee all the way into your nose and round through the spine. Inhaling to flex the foot, press it back, head forwards. Exhale, round in, knee to nose. I always point my toes, but it's totally up to you. Twice more. Inhale, shoot back, lengthen forwards. Exhale, curl and round through the spine. Last one, using this to fire the breath. Inhale to lengthen. Good, exhale, knee to nose. Then inhale, shoot the leg all the way back. This time as you exhale, place the left toes to the floor. Charge up through your hands, your arms, your shoulders. Feel a little energy of rolling the biceps very slightly forwards, round the spine, and hug the right knee up and into your nose. We're in this rounded, kind of domed high plank pose with the right thigh close to the ribs. Then lower the right shin, lift the left leg so it's hovering. Breathe in, look forwards. Exhale, left toes to floor, right knee to nose, round through the spine. Draw up the right shin, inhale, left leg rises. Exhale, lower the toes, knee to nose. Last one, shin drops. Inhale, flex the left foot up and back. Good, exhale, toes down, right knee to nose, now hold it there. Round through the spine and notice if you're sinking into your shoulder blades. Again, see if you can support this by hugging muscle to bone, drawing the lower belly in and keeping that connection of knee drawing into nose. Then from here, send the weight back towards the left foot, send the hips to the sky and float the right leg up and back behind you. Now don't worry about straightening this left leg especially, the one that's on the floor. We're still really early in our practice, so if it feels nicer to soften the knee and rise to the toes, go for that. Then feel this right leg extending up and back behind you, rolling right hip down in line with left. Full inhale if you're not already, curl to the left toes. On the exhale, hug the right thigh back to the ribs. So keep your hips lifted, look forwards. Perhaps rise to the right fingertips, and as slowly as you can, step the right foot in between the palms of the hands. Good, or like me, just kind of chuck it there. If the foot doesn't quite get there on its own, don't worry about it. Just take it as far up as you can. Take right hand to right heel, lean the weight forwards and step it through. Then from here, we'll all lower the left knee to the floor. Relax your left toes and come to your fingertips. Take a moment, breathe, lengthen the chest. Then soften a little further weight into the ball of the right foot, heel of the right foot, and take a big full circle of the arms if you've got the space. Otherwise, reach the arms forward and up. We don't want to kind of knock everything over. Well, you can if you're feeling like distraction would help you release and liberate up, then go for it. As the arms rise, soften into the shoulder heads, but keep a little energy lifting up through your elbows. Taking a full breath in to lengthen through the sideways. Good, on the exhale, circle the hands around and down. Frame the front foot. See if your shoulders can stack above your wrists as we tuck, that's the word, the left toes. Lift the left knee and slide the right foot to meet the left, coming into your high plank pose. So we have shoulders right on top of your wrists, the fingers are spread wide, and we're collecting the belly button in and up away from your mat. Take a breath in, roll onto the tiptoes. Exhale, drop your knees, free the gaze forwards, bend the elbows and lower all the way to the chest, down to the belly. Once you're there, untuck your toes, loop shoulders onto upper back, breathing into peel forwards, low cobra, keep it easy. Exhale, rise up to the knees and then just adjust yourself. So we walk the knees under the hips and the hands under the shoulders. Good, other side. Rooting through right hand, we'll rotate the left arm high up to the sky. Now try and fill up your body here. So remember the breath does so much for us, not only for, I'm going to take my layers off, not only for the physical body, helping the physical body to soften and relax and equally strengthen and get powerful into shapes, but also for our nervous system, so we're not kind of stressing ourselves out here when we breathe deeply. Take a full inhale. On the exhale, thread left arm underneath the right. Keep going until you can possibly drop to the forearm, the elbow, or maybe the shoulder and the left side of the head. Without pushing weight into the head, root down into your right hand and use that little rooting to roll the chest open. Good. And like me, you might get a little satisfying pop in the spine there if you've been sat all day. You can stay here or tuck your right toes. Shoot your right leg back, so we slide the toes across the mat, so they're curled under still. And we're pretty light on this right foot, we're not really kind of pushing too much into it, it's just there as a little support. Take one more breath in, free up the heart. On the exhale, root through right hand, rise and drop left hand under left shoulder, taking a couple little rocks here. As you take these rocks backwards and forwards, make sure that you can see this connection of the hands. So again, Hasta Bandha, rooting through the fingertips. And when we work really strongly, you might create this little clawing action of your mat. So this is going to help to protect into those little kind of more fragile wrist joints. And then holding steady, lift the right leg, again noticing as you lift the right leg, do the ribs forward, does the belly button fall. There will be a slight curve in the back, that's okay. We kind of want to maintain this beautiful S curve of the spine that we, or a lot of us naturally have. If it's not an S curve, if it's, whatever curve your spine is great. We want to maintain that, but we are supporting the lower back, especially here, by drawing the lower belly in. And then we're really then recruiting the glutes, so the bum, to lift the right leg, rather than recruiting your flexibility in your lower back. Taking a long breath in to prepare. Good, now on your exhale, draw the right knee into your nose and round your spine as much as it'll go. Inhale, press the foot back, heart forwards. Exhale, round in, knee and nose. Twice more, using your Ujjayi breath, full inhale. Strong exhale. Using every last drop of breath in to lengthen. Every last drop of the breath out to curl. Good, now this time, inhale, shoot back. On the exhale, drop the toes to the floor, dome through your upper spine, like there's a little puff of air coming up in between your shoulder blades, and carry this left knee into your nose. I rise really high up to the right tiptoes here to give me even more space to float the left thigh towards the ribs. Good, then plant the left shin down. Inhale, right heel goes up, crown reaches forwards. Exhale, right toes to floor, left knee to nose. Couple more, drop the shin, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, press the floor away, round in, knee to nose. Lovely, last one, lower the shin, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, toes to floor, knee to nose, hold it there. Now try it again, tuck the chin, rise high up to the right tiptoes, lean a little weight forward so you can feel the shoulders fire up. Roll the biceps so they face either in towards one another or very slightly forwards, breathing in, breathing out. Next inhale, sweep left leg to sky, soften the weight back, lower into the head and the neck, free up through the jaw and soften. Again, you might have a soft right knee, or you might be beginning to lengthen through the right leg. Taking a breath in to come to the right toes. Exhale, round in, hollow the spine, draw left knee to nose, look forwards, and place the foot towards the top of your mat. We're dropping the right knee to the floor, relaxing the right toes, come to the fingers, and breathe just for a moment. I mean, of course, you're going to breathe throughout the whole practice, but after lots of dynamic movement, it's always nice to just have this moment to pause and settle. Feel what is pressing into the floor right now. So we've got the sole of the left foot, the top of the right foot. Really think about building that great relationship with feet to floor, pressing down as we look forwards and grow the arms around and up to the sky, lifting into your Vinyasa, your low lunge. Good, little softness in the tops of the shoulders, keeping this connection of the navel strong as we feel like we're drawing into the kind of imaginary midline, the center line of our yoga mats. Taking another full breath in. On the exhale, circle hands around and down, frame the front foot, spread fingers, tuck right toes, lift right knee and slide it back to high plank pose. Taking a breath in. Exhale, knees or toes, shift the weight forwards, lengthen the eyes, bend the elbows and lower. Untuck your toes as you arrive, loop shoulders. Inhale, heart forwards, Bhujangasana, maybe a little higher. Exhale, peel hips back. This time curl your toes and we'll lift up to our first double legs, both feet on the floor, downward facing dog. And as you come to down dog, take a moment here to check in. How does the body feel in this shape? Where it feels a little tight or a little achy? Where are you sitting into? Where are you pulling away from? Where do you feel strong? Where do you feel a little more tired or fatigued? And we're not judging these outcomes of these questions. We're not kind of thinking, oh, I feel tired here, that's annoying. Instead, we just use this little observation to tweak so that our practice can become even more serving for us in this moment, knowing that every single time we step on our mat, our experience is going to be different depending on the day you've had, depending on kind of the shifts and the cyclical shifts and cycles and cyclical cycles. That's the same thing, Erin. Nature, that's what we're trying to say. Depending on the seasons, depending on the moon, depending on the day you've had, you know, all of this stuff is going to slightly alter your practice. See if you can embrace that. Taking another breath in here. And another nice long breath out. Good, and then from there, press into your left foot and grow your right heel up and back behind you. Taking a full breath in. On the exhale, round in, knee to nose, look forwards and place the foot to the top edge of your mat. So we're going to build a little heat. As the right foot steps forwards, come to your fingertips, curl your shoulders together and lengthen and free up the chest forwards. So again, we liberate ourselves from having to round in and curl in, instead free it up. Take a long breath in. Now on your exhale, peel your hips up to the sky and soften the head, the heart and the ribs over the right thigh. Now don't worry about if this right leg is straight or not. It's all going to be, again, depending on how you're feeling, past injuries, how you've practiced, your anatomy, all of this stuff will affect, especially small kind of stubborn big muscles like the hamstring. Now we're also still warming up here, so you're not having to force anything. Now flowing with a couple breaths, bend your right knee, take a breath in, dive your heart forwards and up. As you exhale, round the spine just a little way, lift the hips and fold, relaxing through the head and letting your left heel get heavy to the floor. Bend the right knee, breathing in. Exhale, hips to sky, left heel softens behind the left middle toe. Inhale, bend forwards. Exhale, lift up. Take one more round for me in your own timing, in your own breath. Should have said this before this, but if you have 2 blocks handy, you're always welcome to take them under your fingers. Then take a bend into the right knee, step your left toes in just by a tiny way so you can slightly feel a lifting of the hips rather than sitting in your flexibility. We want your right hip to be just a little higher than the right knee. Feel like you're drawing the left thigh up, like you're supporting the thigh bone by squeezing the muscle up towards it. Come to the fingers before circling your arms around and up to the sky. So we breathe ourselves up into a high lunge. Good, as you arrive, catch a hold of your left wrist with your right hand. Take a nice long breath in for me, lift the chest. On your exhale, begin to lean up and over to the right hand side. And as you lean to the right, lengthen into the tailbone. It's a very subtle movement, probably not something that you'll see physically on me or yourself, but instead just this action of drawing your tailbone down, and as you draw the tailbone down, the hip bones lift up to meet your ribs. So we get this like shortening, this very kind of subtle narrowing into the waist. Switching on through the transverse abdominals by keeping the ribs soft. Next inhale, rise to the top. As you exhale, seal your hands to heart and fold the upper body halfway forwards. Again, collect the ribs in so we're not kind of letting everything soften towards the floor. Take a rotation to your right, as far out as to your right as you can first. When you can't twist any further, we'll hook left elbow around outer right thigh. Press into your right hand and use that pressure to rotate. Once you are there, we can press the left heel away and sink a little lower through our lunge just for a moment. Seeing if you can tuck your right hip behind your right knee, breathing in. On your exhale, take your eyes down to the floor, just ahead of your right toes. Now think about that lunge position we had before, with the hips a little higher than the right knee. That's what we want here. Looking down, soften your left knee, and then be brave, be bold, be fearless, not having to place these labels on ourselves saying, no, I can't do that. Give it a little go and see if you can slide the left foot up, whoop, next to the right. If it doesn't work like me, then, you know, it's all good. Know that you are not being filmed and you're also not a yoga teacher for like 3.5 years, so you shouldn't be embarrassed. And I'm not going to be either, you know. We're just going to liberate ourselves and free ourselves from embarrassment. Once the feet are together or hip width, soften the weight down a little further into your heels, revolved at Utkatasana. Re-rotate the chest towards the right, breathing in. Breathing out. Then look forwards, grow the arms up to the sky, full chair pose, one breath in. On the exhale, stand to the top and draw the hands to heart center. Good, reset and find your variation of Tadasana or mountain pose. So either bringing big toes together or walking the feet as wide as your hips, really up to you. Soften into the shoulders, reach up through the crown of the head, and again, catch your breath. Feel a little length in your tailbone. Taking a breath in, hugging the lower belly in as you exhale. Again, filling up as you breathe in. Hear the sound of your exhale. Next breath in, take up space, circle the arms to the sky. As you exhale, dive forward, circle the arms wide as you fold all the way over the legs. Soft bend into the knees, soften the head and heart. Walk the hands up to your shins. As you breathe in, take the eyes forward, find a long spine. As you exhale, soften your knees, connect the hands and step your right foot and then your left foot back into your high plank pose. Taking a little flow through to down dog, we'll breathe in to come to the toes. Exhale, knees or toes lowering all the way or halfway to chaturanga. Breathe in to pull forwards, cobra or up dog. Exhale, hips to sky, downward facing dog. As you come to down dog, shift the weight to the right foot and lift left leg up and back behind you. Full breath in, rise to right toes. Exhale. Exhale, left knee to nose, hollow through the spine, look forwards and place the foot through. As the foot comes through, rise to your fingertips. Again, if you've got 2 yoga blocks or big books handy, you might just take them underneath your fingertips. Otherwise, don't worry about straightening the legs. Breathing in to look forwards. Exhale, peel your hips up to the sky and feel the belly, the ribs, the heart and the head cascade over your left thigh. Again, just take a moment, tuck your chin, look at your right foot. And make sure you can't really see your right heel here, so it's moving right behind your right middle toe. Then bending the left knee, breathe in, free up the heart, look forwards. Exhale, hips to the sky, keeping a little squaring of the hips, dropping right hip down, lifting left hip up. Couple more, bend the left knee, full inhale. Exhale, hips to the sky. Lovely, last one, full inhale, bend the knee. Exhale, hips to the sky. Good, then bend your left knee. Again, I would always step my right toes in just a little way. So that instead of sinking into your lowest lunge, we've got a little energy. We're using the glutes, squeezing into this left hip as you rise the fingers and grow the arms around and up to the sky, stabilizing as you go, which is the beauty of moving really slowly, as we have more time to kind of find those little tweaks through the knee, through the ankle, through the core to switch on, to lock on. And then once we're there, we can ground into it. Taking a hold of the right wrist, we breathe in. Exhale, begin to lean your upper body, so everything above your waist, up and over to the left hand side. As you do this, slide the left hip back, roll the right hip very slightly forwards. See if you can lean the chest back without then flaring super, super wide into the ribs and sitting in your lower back. Hug in through the lower belly and lift up out of the waist to lengthen. Next inhale, rise to the top. Exhale, hands to heart, fold halfway forwards, dive the crown of the head towards me, right, or whatever is in front of you. I might be to the side, so forwards. Rotate to the left and cross right elbow over the left thigh, that last moment, so when you can't twist any further, then we drop elbow to thigh. Now once you have that connection, you can always kind of use the left hand to shuffle yourself in a little further. Spread the fingers, spread the elbows, and use that spreading to rotate open to the left. Sink the left hip a little bit lower and press through the right heel. Breathing in. As you exhale, look down to the floor just above your left toes. Lift your left hip by an inch. Soften your back knee. Now look way beyond your mat. Spot something in front of you that's not going to move, and be fearless and bold as you step the right foot close to the left. Heel, toe and feet together or hip width. Once you're there, sit into it, press into the left hand and lightly roll the chest towards the left. Breathing in. Sitting the bum down a little bit lower as you exhale. Yeah, and then look forwards. Inhale, raise up, chair pose. Exhale, stand tall, hands to heart. Take a long inhale through your nose. Open your mouth and sigh. Good, release the arms. Take a moment, free everything up, soften through your shoulders and through your feet. Grab some water if you want some water, and then when you're ready, travel back to the top of your mat. We're just going to take a little fun posture before coming to settle. Arms come by your side, re-roll the palms forwards and soften, shrug off the shoulders, lengthen the head, take a breath in. Again, reconnect to your voice, your sound, your authenticity as you breathe out. Next breath in, roll the arms above, up to the sky. Exhale, we burst the arms wide and open, little softness in the knees as you press the hips up and fold over your legs. Walking the hands to the shins, inhale, find length. Exhale, soften through the knees, connect the hands, step the left foot and the right foot back into your high plank pose. Taking a full inhale once you get there. Exhale, lowering knees or staying on the toes, bend the elbows back in space and lower either all the way or halfway to chaturanga. Breathing in to roll the shoulders back, lengthen heart open. Now wherever you're at, exhale, plant your knees to the floor, roll up and come onto your hands and knees, walking knees under hips, hands under shoulders. Okay, so this variation is threaded needle, but we're just going to have a little play with the balance. So, Sending the left hand into the floor, nice and strong. Rotate to the right, sweep the right arm high to the sky, breathing in. As you exhale, thread the right arm underneath the left. Again, keep going, keep going, keep going until you drop into the right shoulder and the right side of the head. Now you might choose to stay here and just take this as kind of like round 2 to maybe soften in a little deeper. Second option, maybe you're not, make sure you're not pushing into your head and it's more the right shoulder that's doing the stabilizing, the right knee and the top of the right foot. As you start to float the left leg back behind you. Now this time again, toes might stay down, or you might begin to hover the left leg up and back behind you and start to feel your right fingernails root into the floor. So we really are using the connection of whatever is on the floor minus pushing into the head. And then maybe you rise the left fingertips, maybe play with lifting left arm to sky, maybe play with taking a bend into the left knee, reaching back and grabbing the foot maybe. Ooh, take a breath in. Exhale, lower left hand, lower left knee. Rise all the way to the top. Switch sides, right hand down, left arm up, breathing in. Exhale, thread the left arm underneath the right. Keep going until you drop onto the shoulder. So again, we reset, draw the left shoulder into the floor. Draw as much of the back of your left hand as you can into the floor. Start by shifting more weight to the left knee, extend right toes back. Maybe staying, maybe lifting the right leg. And don't worry about the height here, just enjoy that it's hovering. Maybe stay. Maybe you come to your right fingertips. Or maybe you hug the lower belly in super strongly. Keep your eyes fixed on one thing and lift the right arm. Again, you might take a bend into the right knee. You might be able to take the foot with the right hand and press the foot up. But have a play, breathing in. Exhale gently, lower down, right hand, right knee. This time, unravel, come to a narrow child's pose. So walk your knees in close, drop the forehead, send the arms back by your sides, palms up. And then let your shoulders cocoon around you. So instead of opening and widening, we're now curling in. Take a breath in through your nose. Open the mouth and sigh. And from here, walk the hands underneath the shoulders. Rise yourself up onto your knees just for a moment. Rest the hands to the thighs. Lift up through the head and then drop the chin to the chest. And do that a few more times. So lift up through the head, little lift of the chin away from the chest, and then drop it back down. And we'll start to circle, so rolling the right ear to the right shoulder, breathing in. And then rolling the chin to the chest, breathing out. Left ear to left shoulder, inhaling. Exhaling, chin to chest. Just take a few more of these for in your own time, in your own breath. No rush to get them finished. Just instead enjoying a slightly softer, slower movement and breath. And then from there, the next thing the chin moves in, lift up through the head and walk the hands all the way forwards, curling your toes and rising the hips to the sky, downward facing dog. As you come to down dog, press into the left foot, grow the right leg up and back behind you, roll the right hip up on top of your left and take a bend into the knee, stacking open through the hips. Draw your elbows in just very lightly, so feeling like your triceps, the outer arms are hugging together. And then use that strength in the arms to carry and float the right thigh even higher. Taking a breath in. On your exhale, sweep the right knee behind the right wrist. Angle the toes across to the left. Lower the shin. I'm just going to turn to face you the other way so you can see my foot. And then lengthen the left toes all the way back. So we wiggle it back. So this right foot, the closer it is towards your body, the slightly softer this posture will be. And the slightly further forward, so the more squared your right shin would be, the slightly more challenging it is to keep your hips squared and level. It could just be anatomy here rather than kind of flexibility. So create a line of the right shin that feels good for you. And we're just going to slow it right down, coming to the fingertips, puffing the chest open and softening the shoulders behind the heart, taking a full breath in. On the exhale, bend the elbows and begin to soften the belly, the heart, the ribs and the head down. As you fold, walk the hands forwards. And you might draw the elbows to the floor. You might place one hand on top of the other, walking the elbows wide and creating a little pillow for the forehead. Or you might take up all of this beautiful space you found, reaching the hands forward. And then breathing there. And have a play with what feels best for your right foot. I always slightly kind of flex into the right little toe, especially like you're curling the toes round. It gives a little more support to my knee, but have a play. If it feels better to relax the foot, just relax the foot. And then let your shoulders again slide back and down away from the heart. Coming back to the softness, the ease and the flow of the breath. Now if this feels really nurturing and restoring and healing and serving for you now, stay there. Otherwise, for a little more depth in this posture, I'm going to press back up so you're lifting through the chest, walking the hands again pretty close to you. Then tuck the left toes, slide the knee even further away before taking a bend into the knee. So ideally we're not on the kneecap, we're on that kind of fleshy bit above the knee, towards the thigh. And then come to your fingertips, walking the fingers a little wider than the shoulders, lift up through the chest. Either stay here and work on your hamstring strength to draw the heel towards the upper spine, or take the right hand flat in front of your right shin, circle the left hand back and reach for the foot, big toe out, little toe side. And once you have the foot, we turn the gaze forwards and lightly allow the left heel to draw it in. You can always walk your right fingers away if that helps you to push up onto the fingertips, and then gently lean the chest back as you draw the left heel in. And then just breathing into whatever sensation this is for you. I know for me this is a deep one, hence why I've gone a bit quiet. And let's see if you can breathe into it. Soften the left foot away. Drop the hands flat, curl the left toes, inch the knee in until you can feel your shoulders stacking over your wrists. Pick up the left thigh, lift the hips and sweep the right leg up and back behind you. And then do whatever it is that you need with this right foot. You can circle the ankle, you can roll through the hip, anything at all. Before getting ready to drop both feet to the floor. Right foot flattens, left leg rises, taking a breath in. Exhale, roll the left hip up on top of the right, take a bend into the knee, allow the toes to reach the right hand side of the room. Inhaling to curl to the right toes. Exhaling to take your left knee behind your left wrist, angle the toes across the mat, sink the shin and lower all the way down, sliding your back knee away. Relax the back toes, come to the fingers, breathing in to lift the chest. Breathing out to fold forward, so belly, heart, ribs, head, maybe arms soften down. And see if you can feel here the slight levelling of the hips, so just being very aware if you're sitting all the way to the left, maybe the right thigh feels like it's kind of really lifting up, or the hips feel like they're twisting over to the left. Just seeing if with that simple awareness you can soften the right shoulder, hip and down in line with the left. Softening both shoulders away, softening through the head and the face, to the jaw, the throat and the neck. And when we free up through the face, it's much easier, much nicer to breathe smoothly and softly. Taking another full breath in through your nose. And one more full breath out of your nose. Begin to rise back onto the hands. Again, unless you're happy staying in your forward fold. Start by walking the fingers a little wider than shoulders, lengthening the chest up. Very slightly hugging in through Mula Bandha, so through the pelvic floor muscles here. As we slide that back thigh even further away, taking a bend into the knee. Either staying, working with the lift of the chest and the contraction in the right hamstring, or walking left hand in front of left shin, circling the right arm back to catch the foot. And see if you can catch the foot without kind of twisting the knee too much in or out. We try and keep this same plane of heels stacking on top of the right hip, or at least the calf kind of lining up with the hamstring. And then once you have the foot, if you've got the foot, you can always leave a strap if you want to grab the foot, but it's not quite there for you today. Loop a strap or a dressing gown belt or a normal belt. I don't know why dressing gown belt was the first thing I thought of. A normal belt is fine. Around your right foot. And then square off the hips, lift the chest. If you want more space, walk the left fingers forwards, pop up onto your fingertips, and use that light pressure of the fingers to lean the chest back. Taking a breath or two here, working with the sensation and freeing our attachment to that sensation. Instead of thinking really tight, it's really painful, see if you can free it up and breathe wide. Gently let go of your right foot. Allow it to soften. Hands reach down, tuck your right toes, inch your knee in until you can pick up the back thigh, lift the hips, lift the left leg. Do anything you need. Circle the foot, roll the hip open, anything. When you're ready, bend the knee, drop the foot to the floor. Breathe in, come to both tiptoes. Exhale with a sigh, drop the heels. Inhale to toes, look forward. Exhale, bend your knees and step or hop to the seat. As you come to your seat, unravel the legs. Reach the hands forwards, pop on any layers you have before lowering all the way down onto your back body. Good, as you come to your back, let the knees float up into the chest, wrapping the hands around the shins and just taking a moment here to soften, using them side to side. And take a hold of one knee with each hand and just begin to create these big opposing circles. The knees go wide forwards together and into the chest a few times in one direction. See if the hands can help you out here rather than the legs doing the work. Let the legs get soft and switch direction. Ironing out those points of resistance where maybe the movement kind of stops or gets a little cranky through the hips, seeing if you can soften those areas. And then the next time the knees draw in, start to press the feet to the sky. See if you can take the hands to the backs of your thighs, calves, or even towards the heels. And then allow the tailbone to lift and just allow the legs to float back towards the chest. So we're not in a plow pose, we're keeping the shoulders, the upper and the mid back down. Do allow the tailbone to lift if it helps you out here, but just start to feel this length into the backs of the legs. Flexing, pointing the toes a couple times here, maybe circling through the ankles. Good, seeing if you can lengthen the tailbone but keep the legs lifted. And then take a bend into the knees. Walk your knees wide to the armpits, reach the arms forwards, catching a hold of the little toe sides of the feet as we press up to our happy baby. And you can start to rock a little side to side, see if you can lift and lower into the neck here, the head here. So we lengthen the neck and we tuck the chin slightly. And see if you can rock and roll into stillness, so you find that center point and we soften. Dropping the tailbone towards the floor, pressing the feet above the knees, and letting the thighs soften. Let your heels collapse back into the bum. Hook your knees into your chest and give yourself a really big squeeze, drawing the nose to the knees, maybe reaching for the feet, pulling yourself in. Curl into the roundest, smallest shape you can physically come into as you breathe in. On your breath out, drop the head, relax the feet, lift and lower the hips to lengthen your tailbone, and then one at a time stretch the legs to the corners of your mat. Rest the arms by your sides, rotating the palms up to the sky. Lengthen into the head. And we find our Shavasana. Final part of the practice when we can really free ourselves up from any gripping, any ideals or aesthetics, any goals. We can just release them and lay here open through body, the mind, the heart. Simply being with ourselves, which is sometimes for a lot of us, and I know I'm included in that kind of bunch, of finding it very challenging to be still and to be quiet with ourselves. And it's one of the really important parts of our yoga practice. See if you can accept each and every part of you and accept this moment, even if it's challenging. Accept that it's challenging for you to be still. See if you can lean into it. Breathe with it. I'm going to leave you here for a few more moments. If you have the time, just set a timer for 5 minutes, maybe more, maybe less. Pause this video and be with your breath. Otherwise, if you're with me, begin to wake up the physical body, wriggling fingers, toes, softening through the jaw and the mouth. Taking your time to slide the heels in until the knees bend. Roll off to your right hand side, let yourself curl up, and then reach into the left hand to press yourself into a comfortable seated position facing forwards. As you find your seat, we'll seal with the backs of the hands to the thighs, closing the eyes. And feel all of this breath and this energy that you've created through your practice, and feel it being absorbed into every part of you. Offering yourself gratitude for making the time to step on your mat today. However you were feeling before this practice or however you're feeling now, you were here, and that's the hardest bit. So allow yourself to feel real, authentic, wholehearted pride for that. And then to seal our practice, let's breathe in to raise the arms up above the head. Breathing out as you connect palms together. And draw your thumbs down to your forehead for kind thoughts. Bringing your thumbs to your lips for kind words. And bringing your thumbs to your heart for kind actions. Thank you for sharing your beautiful practice with me. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me on the mat today. Any requests, as usual, just let me know. I'm really open to filming whatever it is that's serving for you right now. I hope you enjoyed your practice, and yeah, I'll talk to you very soon. Have a lovely rest of your day.